Functions are functions that repeat their patterns. So that's kind of what this is about today. On the first part, it says the graph of the function is given. Tell whether f appears to be periodic. So does it repeat itself? If so, give its fundamental period and its amplitude. So we've talked about period and amplitude in trigonometry. So kind of similar here. Okay, does number 1 appear to be periodic? Do you think it's repeating itself? Yes, it is. Got the double mountain valley, double mountain valley. Okay, yes, it is. All right, what color do we want?
Purple.
You are one note. Okay. Yes, it is periodic. The second question is, what is its period? You guys remember what that meant from trigonometry? How far does it get before it starts repeating itself, like on the x-axis? So if you look at 0, it's on the first mountain. So how far does it get before it gets to the first mountain again? 6. Okay. It goes double mountain valley, double mountain valley. So you know what I mean by the first mountain. So, or maybe just the left side of the M, you could think of it as. So it doesn't get to that point again until 6 on the x-axis. So the period is 6. What is the amplitude? 1. It's how much is it going up and down from the middle. It's going up to 1, down to -1. The amplitude is 1. Okay, they asked a couple more questions. It says, what would f of 1,000 be? That means, what is the function's value when you put in 1,000 for like the x, if you ever got to 1,000? How are we going to figure that out?
Do we ever do one of those things we did a while ago?
I have no idea.
Oh.
This doesn't make much sense to me. Okay. So because the period is 6, what I'm going to do is 1,000 divided by 6. When I do that, you guys remember short division? Okay, what this tells me is that, it's an ugly 6, it's going to go through that period 166 times. What does the remainder of 4 mean? It's going to go 4 steps past the period, the starting point of the period. So it goes through the period 166 times, because it takes 6 to get through a period. You have to go through 6. And you can get through that 166 times, and then the 4 represents like, and we're going 4 steps past the start. So whatever is happening at 4 is what's going to be happening at 1,000. So what is happening at 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. The function is down at -1 in that valley. So f of 1,000 will equal -1. You guys need a better visual to, maybe I can point at stuff. No, that's not it. Okay, anyway, something like that. So, from here to here is the period, right? 6. So, I don't know if I can describe it much better than I did. When I do 1,000 divided by 6, that tells me that it'll go through this 166 times. Like it'll go out here, but it'll just look like this to this. Go through that 166 times. The remainder of 4 means on that last round, it's only gonna get to 4. So what's the function value at f of 4 is -1. Which is gonna be the same as the value at f of 1,000. Alright, that's probably about as good as I can do. Alright, and then they ask for f of -1,000. So it's kind of the same thing, but it's going backwards. So it would be like what's happening at -4. Now, I didn't draw the graph back -4, but you can basically start right here, because this is the same as this, and go backwards 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the value at -1,000 would be +1. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 answers. Number 3. Does number 3 look periodic? Yes. Which of the graphs is not periodic, do you think? Number 4. There is a pattern, but it's not, the values aren't repeating themselves. So, 4 you don't have to answer all the questions, you just put no. Because it doesn't have a period, it doesn't have an amplitude. Alright. Number 3, what is the period? How far does it get before it starts repeating itself? 3. Starts at the right side of the semicircle, and at 3 it's at the right side of the semicircle again. It takes 3 units before it starts repeating itself. Or you can look at the top of the hill. It goes from 2 to 5 on the top of the hill. So, what is the amplitude? It would be 1/2. So the middle of the graph would be like at 2.5. It's going up and down 1/2 from there. To find the amplitude, you basically can just do the height divided by 2. The height of the graph goes from 2 to 3 is 1. 1/2 of that. 1/2. Okay, what's happening at 1,000? Alright, so how did I do this last time? Right. So every 3 units it's going to go through its period. So this tells me it's going to go through its period 333 times, and it'll go like 1/3 past that, so 1 step. So whatever's happening at f of 1 is going to be the same thing that's happening at f of 1,000. So the value at 1 is 2. You guys see that on the graph? When x is 1, the function value is up at 2. Okay, for f of -1,000, it's kind of, you could say you're dividing by 3, but you're like going in the negative direction. You just go 1 backwards in this case. So 1 backwards, it's actually, they kind of put it on the graph. At -1, the function value is up at 3. Alright, use the graph of y equals f of x shown at the right to sketch the graph of each of the following. Okay, a lot of these tricks we should know from the past. What happens when we multiply the entire function by 2? What do you guys think will happen to that graph? By how much? It'll be twice as tall. So instead of going from 0 to 1, it's going to go from 0 to 2. So like 0 times 2 is still 0, but 1 times 2 is 1.
So we're drawing this?
Yeah. This is A. I don't know, how far did they go? They just made 2 hills, 2.5. I guess they went too far. Okay, on B, what happens if we multiply the function by a half? What's going to happen to the function? Okay, the negative flips it upside down, but what's the 1/2 to? Half as tall. So, I guess they're going to 5 up here. So it's going to be upside down
Oh, gosh. No.
and half as tall. So instead of going to 1, it'll go to -1/2. Okay, C. Y equals. Okay, what's different about C from A? It's right on the X. What happens when you multiply? Well, we talked about the negative yesterday or maybe the day before. What happens when you put a negative on the X? You guys remember? Okay, the X coordinates are opposite. So what that does is positive X values go to negative, negative X values go to positive. So it's a horizontal flip across the X axis when you make X's negative. Across the Y axis, sorry. Okay, but what does this 2 do? We haven't talked about that today. That makes everything go twice as fast. So it'll be like everything will be compressed and only be half as long. Okay, now on this graph, does a horizontal flip do anything?
No.
Not really. Well, I guess if we put this way over here, so maybe I should change my graph a little bit. Okay. But here's the thing, it's got to happen twice as fast. So we need to be up and back down again by the time we get to 1. So again, the negative on the X does a horizontal flip, like this, over the Y-axis. The 2 makes everything happen twice as fast, so it's like a 2 times compression. So this point right here went right here. And we're only going up to 1. This is the A. Okay. We're gonna put D. We'll go up here. D. So what do you guys think the 1/2 X is gonna do? Everything will happen half as fast, which means it slows down, so it'll get wider. So instead of getting up to 1 by X equals 1, it won't get up to 1 until X equals 2. So it'll look more like that. Thanks.
Eli, you should join our history class. Before that.
What are you guys doing in history?
This is Mary's watching.
Grant?
What just happened?
Dude, that's stripped out my chest.
Okay, you guys should be familiar with this one. What happens when you put a negative 1/2 directly on the X?
It goes right.
Right, 1/2. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna start right here and then be up right here. I guess I don't go that far.
What's how you finish
Great. How are you?
Hey Mason.
After you let all that gas out, the stomach feels a lot better.
No.
Forrest, you got like some sparkling in your hair.
I did.
Oh, you
I was
do?
running away, so.
You have the table on it.
Oh, I see. Yeah. What? Sorry. Sorry. Oh, wow.
Did you guys see Jaden?
Yeah, Jaden Rowan. That was pretty.
They were very.
Jaden about died of a heat stroke in my class. He had 4 layers on. He had the jacket, the vest, the button down, and he had a white undershirt underneath, undershirt. And
Did Roman tell you the story of us seeing a guy faint in front of us?
who?
Roman, did he tell you this?
Who fainted?
It was our friend Zane.
No, I don't think so. No.
Yeah, we had to go do an interview for our job at the YMCA, and when I opened the door to the office, he just fell, like right on top of us. And we didn't really know what to do at first, because we thought it was like a joke or something, but no, he literally fainted.
For what reason?
I guess it was just hot in there. I
Oh.
don't know.
Weird.
Maybe Roman will tell the story.
How can you faint just from heat? You'd have to be
I don't know.
something else is going on
Oh,
there.
something.
So there's more to that story. All right.
Really?
The same deal?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he just straight up fainted on the spot.
It's weird.
It was right as I opened the door too, so I was like, this is gotta be a joke. Because it was as, couldn't make it up.
Okay, so what does the negative on the X do?
Upside down.
Horizontal flip.
Oh.
Okay, when you put a negative on everything, like out in front, that's upside down. What does the +1 do?
Up.
Up 1. So if I move up 1 and like flip it around, it would go from there to there.
So you have to do all this on
help you.
Oh, okay.
It's my going away gift to you. Also, it's hard. What'd you guys get for me?
Dude, you can play blackjack and win. That's our gift to you. Unless you lose, then.
It's not our gift to you. Okay.
I beat Mrs. Mayor at spoons twice.
Nice.
I was winning the spoons, so.
Noise.
Cause you were cheating.
I was
Not
not
allowed
cheating.
to
No, he was an
spoon
honest
sometimes.
player, honest to goodness.
Honest.
If you have sharp fingernails, spoons is a dangerous game.
Yes.
Eli attacked me.
No, I didn't. Eli.
You didn't lose any nails from prom?
Kaden took it from my hand. It started.
Eli took it from my hand.
This is the
Dude,
spoon.
you just lost.
No, you're just a bum.
She was going like this around the spoon, so I just went.
You could make people play with mittens.
Pick it up off the ground.
That'd be fun though.
Use your mouth.
Can't do that.
Huh?
Really size gloves, so we just.
And like super tiny.
Ew.
Okay, that would lead to
Use
some
your
awkward
feet.
situations.
Use your feet.
I would,
You
yeah,
try to grab
I
it
would-
on your own.
Everybody has these shots.
Like, what if two people went for the same spoon?
That would be so funny.
Yeah, you play.
The first time I just grabbed.
Playing. It's funny when somebody else says that.
They don't play.
I would lose that game. I'd be like,
Yeah.
It's all yours.
You know what? You know.
It was so big because I was starting.
okay, number 6. So, on the right there, they're showing the greatest integer function. We'll just do those 4 steps. It does go forever, but we'll just do 4 steps. On A, what do you think will happen when you put a minus 1/2 in front of a function?
Everything goes. Do what?
Okay, it's not directly on the x. The whole function is just labeled with this little symbol thingy. So if it's out in front, like the whole function will just be half the size. If it's inside directly on the x, everything happens half as fast.
Oh.
So that's the horizontal stretch. But this is the vertical squish. It's half as tall. So the first stair step, like, well, half of 0 is still 0, so that stair step is still like right there. But the next stair step is only up 1/2 of a step. Half of a step. And down half of a step.
How many of these are we doing? All.
Yeah.
Oh.
Uh-huh. We're about to be done. All I left you with is basically number 2.
I don't want to be that
Well, tough.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So what do you guys think this -2 is going to do? Okay, let's start with the 2. What's the 2 going to do? No, it's not directly on the x. It's like on the front. It's like the whole function is getting multiplied by 2, like everything. So it'll be twice as tall. And what does the negative do when you put it on everything? Vertical flip. So that stair step that was at -1 over here is going to be at +2 over here. Okay. The step at 0 is still going to be at 0. So here, let me give you a visual. So here was where the stair step normally was. the times 2 doubles, like makes it twice as tall. But the negative flips it, so it flips up there. So times 2 moved it to -2, but then the negative flipped it to +2. Yeah, it's vertical flip. If it's directly on the X, that's a horizontal flip. Like the X value switch. When you put the negative on everything, everything is like the Y value, so the Y value switches. So that's a vertical flip. Sorry, I drew a lot of extra stuff down. So what was at +1 is now going to be at -2. And what was at, oops, I didn't let myself enough room. What was at 2 is now going to be at 4, or -4. Okay, C, we've kind of almost done this before. All right, what is the 1/2 directly on the X going to do? Half as fast. So in other words, horizontal stretch, be twice as wide. What's the negative on the X do? Horizontal flip. X value switch. Positive X values become negative. Negative X values become positive. Okay. So this is not the right answer, but this is where it started at. The 1/2 is going to stretch it to like twice as long, and then the negative is going to flip it. Horizontal flip. It'll be wide. Well, most of it will be over here, actually. Okay, the step that went from 0 to 1 is now going to go from 0 to -2. So you can kind of see the pattern after that. Oh, Issa, I forgot to see if you're keeping up. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm on this one. I just have to wait till you finish.
Now, last time I asked that, you lied to me, so.
I'm being honest.
You can just copy off Hope since we're doing this together. If necessary. All right, what is the 2 directly on the X gonna do?
It's gonna make it longer.
Twice as fast.
Shrunken.
Right. It's the opposite of C, the one we just did. So 1/2 means half as fast, so it's a horizontal stretch. D is twice as fast, so it's going to be a horizontal shrink, squish. Compression maybe is the fancy word. So instead of going from -1 to 0, it only goes from -1/2 to 0. It's a little step. It's a little guy. Kind of hard to draw. Oops. Squeeze E over here. What's E doing? This is the one I feel like actually all get right without my help. What do you guys think E is gonna do?
Move it to the right one.
Right one. Let's move all those stair steps to the right one. Alright, F. It's a double whammy. Times 2 plus 1, neither of which is directly on the x. What happens when we multiply the function by 2 and add 1? Okay, what's the times 2 do?
Makes it taller.
Twice as tall. And kind of think of it like order of operations. You multiply by 2 first. Did we do that already on one of these? Kind of like B. But B, we flipped it upside down though. So times 2 is going to stretch the steps, like make them twice as tall. But then what does the plus 1 do? Everything goes up 1. So the step that was, this is kind of tricky. The step that was at -1, when you times 2, it goes to -2. But when you plus 1, it goes back to there. For the step at 0, 0 times 2 is still 0, but plus 1 moves it up 1. So it's that. After you do the first two, you can kind of just like see what the pattern is and copy it.
I can change my other shoes now.
They're really dumb, yeah. The drip from-
That thing sucks. You might finish. My feet feel so free right now.
The remainder for negative thousand is going to be the same as the remainder for but the only thing okay, if there's no remainder, that means it stops right at the end of the period. So whatever's happening at 1,000 is the same that happens at 0.
Would you point 8?
At 0 is about
That's it, it was very handsome thing.
0.
It was very handsome.
And so that would be for.
That's what you were there.
Yeah.
No.
What would be? 0?
Thank you.
Yeah. At 0, the function value is 0.
So did you put the other functions back?
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
It's still 0. Is it Jordan?
What?
For the negative, it's still 0.
Oh, you put it back in the bucket.
That's
Can
not.
I eat like
Keep on.
Willow.
The chemistry one?
Because after that, sorry, what?
for the negative, it's still 0.
Yeah, remainder is negative 0.
And I finally got 0.
Actually, good pictures.
I
Yeah, we have a little.
I'm here for this.
I
Yeah, we have like a little bit 5 minutes.
You know the job.
Heat up.
Can you put the next?
That's what that's one, you know.
Well, there's 2 ways to do it.
Yeah, if one can be there next time, we're gonna gamble. But you, can you really gamble next time? Or do you think Ava will gamble? But like it's only us
So
two.
we can do all of them.
And so we have.
That's just blackjack against each other.
Oh, like one of
Let's
the.
get all of them. So if it's not mine, it's its own.
Can you put blackjack next time? I don't know if there's anything else to do in her class.
What are they?
I think she wants us to hang it up.
Oh, probably. Oh, she said that we could say.
Where would this little guy go?
me go home because I got the last 2 days to go home. And to be fair, last 2 days I was sick by PD, but like today I'm
Well,
already sick.
whatever you do, work at it with all your heart.
Wait, did I even go
Yeah.
As
home
unto
before I
the
go?
Lord. It's a Bible verse.
Well, if you don't want to miss your 2 science classes,
I don't have anything to
we
do.
have to take finals. Great.
Yeah, I already do have to take it.
Did you know you
I
have to
feel
take
sick.
finals?
I don't
Yeah,
like
actually.
working with all my.
I just don't know.
Ah.
My stomach is.
Well, you do if it's a job, if it's something like this.
Yeah, that's true. But I don't like
That's
working.
true with everybody though.
That's like what I was talking about.
Grant, you're not eat tough.
No, I hate that song. It's so fun. Dude, Ken, I remember whenever you used to sing that song with me in the mask.
What?
Yes.
What?
Actually, 100%. Dude, that song is. He makes normal pills.
Grant, got your test.
Oh, did I get something above an 80?
Yes.
I'm happy.
Backgammon?
I don't do well in that test.
I made a backgammon computer game once in college or I helped. Is one of my project assignments, group assignments.
Did you pass?
Yeah.
How do you play it?
I
You have
kinda
to
forgot.
put the symbols and speakers.
I did really bad the last one. I kind of.
Get to.
It was too dark for me to read the paper.
Well, I think I have this on the online.
On the math test.
That's what you got.
Because you turn off the lights over and you make oh!
So you have to like
Yeah.
stack,
Yeah.
That was some fun.
There's like a certain setup. I don't remember it.
and you like try to.
I don't know.
Grant! Come on! Sorry, were you trying to get your checkers?
Dum, dum, dum.
What's that? Trouble? The one where you just, like you try to land on other people's and.
I'm gonna do what you told you look like you're communicating.
I didn't.
I'm gonna do what you.
I said it. I said being tickled.
No, but when you also know, when you also know.
But broccoli that is bad.
Dr. Broccoli?
How dare you handle it? What store's Hammer calling? How dare you handle Mjolnir?
Can I put this in my locker real quick?
Ah, yes.
That's where you do like a 75%.
What was that?
Yeah, she was like,
That's what she said. Breakfast, shack, food, chalk, I knew it was something wrong with you.
Grant, you got a little bit of glitter on your face.
Oh, I do?
Is that purposeful?
No.
No, wait for the bell to
Hey,
ring.
you want to leave so early? Why are you going to be this Jordan?
Yo.
Wait, what? Is he recording out the window?
He's recording out
Adios.
Have fun on your cruise.
Try.
Are you gonna wear shorts?
Never.
We're giving Mrs. Carter I have to take a photo. What's an apple juice? You want some video? be in this world. Bye, Shelby. Wait, Shelby. Bye, guys.
Oh, this is still recording. Would you look at that?
Yeah. What are you doing?
It's still recording.
The heck?
You never stopped it. Can't stop, won't stop, can't go out.